Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm sorry for the delay for some technical issues. But thank God we've been able to resolve the technical issues now. So welcome to my live channels. Welcome for the lectures today. Please, if you are hearing me, just drop a message that you are hearing me. Let me be sure that everybody is hearing me. Just drop a message that you are hearing me. Also introduce yourself, your institution and the state where you are watching me from, where you are listening for this lecture from. My name is Dr. Lekba David, and we are here to look at research, how we can identify problems and how we can choose our project topics. I hope you are hearing me. Okay. So I think we'll go straight into the lecture now because our time is fast spent. Research is all about identifying problems. Research is about identifying problems. Research is about solving problems. That is the main aim of carrying out research. So if we are unable to identify societal problems, then there is no research. So the first approach to research is not to look for project topics. The first approach is to look for problems, to identify problems that you can solve. Problems within your environment, within the society, within the community where you stay. Problems that worth solving. Of course, the solution may not be for you alone. You may solve the problem, you may not solve the problem. But the main thing is that the problem has been identified. So the first step in our lecture tonight is that we are going to look at 5 characteristics of a good problem. Because as I told you, for you to carry out research, you must identify problems. So we're going to look at 5 characteristics of research problems, a good research problem. So please, you can drop a message and let me be sure that you are hearing me. You can as well introduce yourself, your institution, where you are watching me from, the part of the country where you are watching from, or if you are outside the country. Pick your pen and write, and let's spend some time to look at research and how to identify problem and choose a project topic. Please don't fail to subscribe to my channel as well. Subscribe, share the links to your colleagues that are not here. Start inviting people to come to join us, that we are live to talk about research. All right, so 5 characteristics of a research problem. Number 1, you need to identify your area of interest. You need to identify your area of interest. You are not going to solve a problem in an area that you do not have interest. It will be boring. So you must first of all choose your research area based on interest, based on passion. So within your field, within your course of study, look at that aspect of your course of study that is interesting to you, that you have passion for. So identify your research problems. Now the second step is to identify gaps in the area of interest. What are the gaps? What are the opportunities in those areas of interest? When you go to begin to look for gaps in literature, gaps in that particular research area, you will see what has been done and what is yet to be done. And then you begin to think of problems that you can generate from areas that nothing has been done or much has not been done. So begin to look for gaps. The third characteristic is that your problem must identify a target user. A target user. So who do you want to solve the problem for? You want to solve a problem? Yes. Who do you want to solve the problem for? Because if you carry out research and it's not affecting someone or a particular group of people, there is no research. It's not just for you to defend your project or thesis or dissertation. and then you graduate and go. No, you are to solve societal problems. So who are you solving their problems? What kind of problem are you solving, and who do you want to solve the problem? So you must identify your target user, the people that is affected by the problem that you want to solve. The fourth point is that you must identify the problems and link the problem to resources available. You must link the problem to resources available. Yes, it's not just, okay, I want to do, I have seen problem in this area or that area. What are the resources available? Resources that we are talking about. One, what are the expertise? Are you an expert in that area that you want to carry out research? If you are not an expert, why do you want to go and carry out research in an area you are not an expert? Or you are not an authority? Okay, or even though you are not an authority, do you have a collaboration with someone that is an authority in that area? Because people want to hear you, people want to read you when they know that you are an expert or an authority in that area. For example, now I am in anatomy, neuroscience, I am trying to solve problem in political science. And anybody that will hear me talk about solving a problem in the political science or probably in, let's say, economics, they will say, who is you? Who are you? Who are you? Who is this person that is trying to solve this problem? He's not an expert in this area. But I can be part of a research in economics if I have if I collaborate with somebody from there. Then people will want to listen. People will want to see what I am trying to carry out, knowing that I am collaborating with someone in that area. So you must be sure that you are an expert, that you have resources. Now, apart from being an expert, being a resource person in that area, what are these resources available for you to carry out the research? Do you have the equipment? Do you have the tools? Do you have the finances? Do you have what it takes to solve that problem? Do you have what it takes to carry out that research, to identify that problem, to make it known to the society? So it is key that the resources are available for that. Now, the fifth point, the fifth characteristic of a good research problem is that you must link up the problem to the end user. Once it can be available to, once it can be able to solve, you can be able to solve the problem of one person, you can now extrapolate it to the general public. So, identify a particular person you are solving the problem for. Are you solving the problem for someone on the wheelchair? Are you solving the problem for someone that is having a particular image or thereabout? Identify that person that you are solving the problem with. Don't target the entire population. Identify a person first that you are trying to solve the problem. Once you are able to generate problems, when you are able to look at the problems that are involved or that you have identified in that community, then you are good to go. Now, the next thing, I will give you about 10 characteristics or factors to choose an exact problem. I will give you 10 factors that you will use to choose an exact problem in your research area. Remember, I started with problems. I didn't start with solution or project topic. We are coming to project topic. But first of all, we are on problems. Because it is problem that is the main thing in research, not even the solution. Because sometimes you may be able to expose that problem, but to get the solution may not be you. It may be someone else. Someone else may continue from where you stop in your research. It may take the next 1 year, the next 2 years, the next 10 years to solve that problem. But for the fact that you have identified the problem, it is research that you have carried out. So the good thing, the first thing to do is to identify a good problem. And I have told you 5 characteristics of a good problem. Now the next thing is, I've told you 5 characteristics of how you can go about identifying problems. So what are 10 factors, or 10 things you can do to choose a good problem? Number 1, a good problem should be addressing a gap in knowledge. I've said that before. There should be a gap in knowledge that you are addressing. Don't address a problem that has already been solved. There must be a gap in literature. That is why literature review is key when you are about to carry out research, because what you are doing is that you are reviewing, you are carrying out an empirical or a holistic theoretical framework of the work and then try to get gap in literature. When you are able to see where researchers stop, then you can continue your own from that area concerning that particular problem. Number 2, identify gap in execution. Identify gap in execution. Now, people may have identified the problem, but in terms of executing, solving the problem, they've not been able to do it, or they've been able to solve it using a particular technique. Then you can now develop your own using another technique. Nothing is new 100% on planet Earth, but it is the approach that you use that will show the difference between what you are doing and what others have done. I hope that you are with me, and if you are with me, just drop a message and let me know that you are following up the lecture. Number 3, the problem that you have identified, is it relevant to the society? Is it relevant to the society? So you must choose a problem that is of importance, that is of relevance to the society. Because if you don't have a problem that's relevant to the society, you are wasting your time. From a problem that has already been solved some years ago, or problem that is not of importance to the society. So whatever problem that you have identified must be relevant to this mankind, must be able to solve mankind problem. The next point is that your problem must have magnitude. What I mean by magnitude is that the problem must affect more people. Although you are trying to solve a problem for a particular person when you are starting, but this problem should have magnitude, should be able to affect, it should be something that when you have been able to get the solution or to expose the problem, we know that, okay, maybe a particular tribe or a particular ethnic group or a particular region is affected by that problem. It should have magnitude, it should spread. Now the next point, number 5, is that a good problem has to grow in size. You don't go to solve a problem that after 1 month the problem is no more. You will not be relevant. So solve a problem that can grow in size. Solve, like for example, we in the medical side, you can be able to solve a problem that is chronic, that you know that in the next 5 years the problem may still be there, or the next 10 years, the problem that it can grow in size or that can spread to a lot of population, then you become very important. When you are applying for grant to solve such a problem, people know that yes, this problem, if they don't provide solution to it now, it will spread. So your problem may have the ability to spread to a larger population. Then you can see that you can get funding for such a problem or for such a research. A good problem must be urgent. You must also look at a problem that is urgent. Because if you are trying to solve a problem or you have identified a problem that is not urgent, nobody will take you serious, even when you apply for grant. They will go to the one that is urgent. A problem that if they don't form or if it is not carried, the research is not carried out, a lot of damages will be done. Or it will affect policy making by government or by policy brief or national development, as the case may be. So your problem must be urgent, maybe something that when you look at it is something that you can start to carry out a research on. The next point is a good problem should be recurrent. It should be occurring and reoccurring. So look for problem that is recurrent. Like sometimes you see some of these epidemics, some of these infectious diseases and all that. Sometimes they occur, they come back, Ebola or COVID and all that. It should be a problem that is recurrent. So your funder, whoever that want to fund the research, if it's not self-sponsored, we will look at it as, okay, if we don't invest into this research, this thing is likely to occur again. So it's urgent and it's recurrent. So that is key. So you must not solve a problem that once you solve it, it's gone. You wouldn't be relevant because it's just once and for all solution. So look for a problem that is recurrent and you remain relevant. Now this is very important because a lot of students dodge away from things that are difficult. A good problem must or should be difficult to solve. Should be difficult to solve. Don't look for problems that are easy. Look for problems that is difficult. Because once you are able to proper solution to the problem, whether holistically or part of the problem, you can see that in that process you become more and more relevant to the society or to the government or to whoever that sponsored the program. So don't look for a problem that is easy to solve. Look for a problem that is difficult and then expose it. As I told you before, exposure, just exposing the problem is research that you have done. You may not be able to solve the societal problem on that area at time. Another person will look at what you have done and improve on it. So a good problem must be difficult. So the more difficult the problem, the more reward you get. The more difficult the problem, the more reward you get. So look for a problem that is difficult to solve. Number 9 point is that a good problem that look for problems that are measurable. Make sure that we can assess the impact of your effort. When you are carrying out a research, as I told you, research is to identify problems and to solve problems. When you are done with your project work and you have defended or you have published, now people should be able to assess what you have done. People should be able to measure. And how do you assess the impact of a research? It is the end user. That is why from the beginning I told you that you must identify the end user. You must identify the end user of the problem you are trying to solve. So the problem must be measurable. You cannot say that you have solved the problem of water for people of the Niger Delta or for people in a particular community, whereas when you go to the community, you can still see people suffering from water problem. You have not solved the problem, or you have not proper solution to the problem. Even though it's not 100% solution, but at least people should be able to assess the impact of what you have done on the community. You say you are doing a bioremediation on pollution sites in a polluted environment. People should be able to assess the impact of that research work in that area based on the techniques or the steps that you are taking to solve the problem. So if they go to the impacted site and they couldn't see any cleanup or anything that you have done, no research was carried out, because the research must be measurable and the impact must be felt. Number 10 is that a good problem, so solve a problem that the owner of the problem are reachable or accessible. So focus on problem that matters. Don't go and solve problem for people that are not reachable, because remember we talk about impact. So for people to assess the problem, or for you to assess the problem that you have solved, is key. So you must go to the environment where you are trying to solve the problem to assess the impact of that research. Apart from you, other people should be able to assess the impact of that research and see that actually a research was conducted in this area and the impact is felt. You cannot say that you have done a particular work on so area, and when we want to go to the area to check the impact of the research and we cannot assess the people. They are nowhere to be found. In fact, the place is not existing, or that work is not even in anywhere that we can find to assess the impact of your research. So both the impact, both the research itself and the people that you are solving problem for must be accessible. So research is for national development. Research is for the society. Research is not for you to put in the library of your school and you said you have done this, you have done that. So if you are not solving a societal problem, you are not a researcher. You have not carried out any research, or if you have not exposed problems of the society or problem affecting mankind, you are not a researcher. So having known the 10 factors or 10 things you can consider in choosing a good problem, let's go to how you can choose your project topics. It's a funny thing that in this part of the world, the first thing that students do is to go and look for project topics. You see, sometimes my students that I'm supervising, they will come and say, "Sir, give me project topic," or "This is my project topic." And I'll tell them that is not the first thing to research. It's not, where did you get the project topic from? Where did you get it from? Which problem are you solving? Which problem do you want to solve? You just go to maybe senior colleagues' work, copy, and go and give to your supervisor just for the sake of graduation. Or you go to internet and Google project topics and you go. You can never be relevant in doing such a thing. Research is a continuous thing. So whatever you are doing, if you do a good research, that can be the beginning of you getting grants up to PhD level. If you do a good research as an undergraduate student, you can even open up to NGOs that you can begin to work and earn more resources, money, and solve societal problems. If you do a good research, it can also link you to more and more research solving organizations and all that. So it's not something you just go and carry somebody project topic and say that you want to do project. No. The first step is what I have told you. So now that you have known how to characteristics of problem, how to generate a problem, let's go to how you can choose a project topic. So you are carrying out research projects to solve problems in the society beyond you just getting a certificate. So the purpose why research is introduced to us at final year in the university or at the end of your master's or PhD program is because you have to solve societal problem. Research, in fact, a community or a society is a reflection of their classroom, is a reflection of researches that is going on in that area. If you look at some developed countries in the world, it's because they are taking research serious. People are being paid to look for problems in the society. People are being paid to look for how to solve problems in the society. And that is research. So don't joke with whatever you are doing because you don't know where you may get to tomorrow. So if you don't have a proper background on how to go about research, you just end up by just finishing your first degree or your master's and just drop the work there and be looking for something else to do. So whatever you want to spend your time to do as project, it should be something that should be a pointer to the next phase of your academic journey. Please share the link of these lectures. Let your colleagues know that such an important lecture is going on so that they can join us, and drop your name, your institution where you're joining from. I'll be glad to see and to welcome you. Subscribe to this channel, please, so that subsequent videos, like the next 2 weeks, I'm going to talk about how to write projects. Okay, how to write your project. So you can see I'm not starting with writing projects because that is not the first aspect of research project. So the first aspect is identifying problems, looking for a topic, then you can now know how to go about the write-up. So I'm going to give you step-by-step a guide on how to write projects by our next edition. So invite more people to join us. Please, for you to choose a topic, you must fall in love with your project, with your problem. That problem that you are excited about solving, that problem that you want to eliminate from the society, that problem that probably must have affected any members of your family. For example, maybe anybody who was a victim of breast cancer or cervical cancer, and you want to see a way that you can provide solution to this problem of the society. So your problem should be a problem that you have already fallen in love with. And when you fall in love with your problem, you can begin to generate topic around your problem. Okay, so now what are the best things you will do in trying to choose your topic is to generate research questions. So let's look for 6 characteristics of a research question. How do you generate a research questions around the topic, around the problem that you have fallen in love with in order to generate your project topic? 1, your research question must be clear and specific. Ask questions. Now you already know the problem. Begin to ask some clear and specific questions concerning that problem. Can this be done? How can I do this? Be clear and specific. Your research question must be clear and specific. Straight to the point. Number 2, it should be relevant. Your research question must be relevant. Because you will begin to ask a question that is not relevant to the society or to mankind, nothing good will come out of that. It must be relevant. So the research question must be relevant to the problem that you want to solve. The next point, number 3, is that your research question must be feasible. Do not embark on a journey you cannot get to the end. Don't go and try to solve a project work or try to write a project that you cannot continue to the end, or you cannot continue to a logical conclusion, because in project there is a conclusion of what you have done. So look for research questions that is feasible, something that you can handle, something that your resources can handle, something that you are solving a particular problem. Now, the next one, very important, is that your research questions must be novel, must be innovative. There is nothing completely new on planet Earth. So whatever problem you are trying to solve, of course, others have made attempts to solve that problem. So look for those existing problems and see how you can add innovations to it. What is missing that you need to add? Ask questions that will make you to think. And it is thinking that gives birth to innovations. A lot of things we are using today, you can testify that there are a lot of improvement, upgrades about that. So you can look for an existing technology or an existing research area and begin to ask innovative questions. And you can see that it will be clear how you will go about solving that problem. So innovation, especially in today's world, you must be innovative to be relevant. Because if you go and do a work that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they passed that stage, you are just at the ordinary level. So you must be innovative. Now, your research question must also have some element of originality. Don't go to copy. This is one of the things that most students, especially undergraduate students in this part of the world, go to copy somebody's project work and bring. I've seen some students that when they will bring the work, I will tell them, so person have done this work, so they say, sir, how do you know? I said, because I'm a researcher. I read, I check for whatever you brought to check how original it is. I cannot allow my students to go and do things that there is no element of originality. So, ensure that whatever project you want to carry out, there should be some element of originality. Just as you said, you can innovate, you can improve on what others have done, but that doesn't mean go and copy their work 100% and say you want to carry out project in this area. No. That is not research. That is not research. Research is to expose gap in literature, expose gap in technology, in whatever you have done. So when you have seen the gap, wherever the other research has stopped, you can continue from that region. Now, the next point is, number 6 point, is that there should be some element of complexity in the research questions on some things you are trying to do. Don't do a thing that from the beginning, whoever that is looking at the work has already seen the result from the beginning. That's not a good research. A research should be something that should keep you and even others that are following up with your research curious to see the end of the research. So there should be some element of complexity. It shouldn't be so simple that, okay, at the end of the day, you are going to tell us so percentage of people who are doing like this, or so percentage like this, or you are going to give a questionnaire to say yes, no, and all that. No, there should be some element of complexity. There should be something that your contribution to knowledge should be something that when somebody reads, oh, this is a good work that was carried out by a researcher, someone that is good in what he or she is doing. So, as I said in the beginning, research work. Research is to identify problems and to solve problems for the society. So if your project work is not solving a societal problem, please drop it. And one of the ways by which you will know, or one of the things that can guide you to know how to choose problem that is a societal problem, is to look for sustainable development goal. You must link your project to sustainable development goal. So if your project is not addressing any of the sustainable development goal, that project is not worth solving. To be frank with you, no funder, especially international funders, they will not fund that your project. They will not fund that research because it is not addressing sustainable development goal. So it is key that as a researcher, you should know all the sustainable development goal and know the one that is in line with your field, with your area of specialization. But a lot of us, we've not even opened the sustainable development goal to see what is there, and you are carrying out research. You are a final year student in the university, you are an MSc student, you are a PhD student, yet you have not even opened the sustainable development goal to know the problem you are trying to solve that is in line with the sustainable development goal. So it is when you have been linked your project to the sustainable development goal, whether you are solving wellness, health and wellness problem, or you are solving poverty problem or agriculture problem, any of that thing, then you can now begin to narrow it to specific area in that particular wider scope of sustainable development goal. Now you can see that when you put this together, you will see someone that will be ready to fund that your research. You will see someone that will be ready to support you to go about that research. Any research you want to carry out that is not useful after graduation, that you cannot, it's not about publishing. Anybody can publish whatever he or she has done. It is about what can solve societal problem. It is about what can lead to the next funding. How can your project attract someone to fund, attract an organization to fund? If it is not linked to a sustainable development, you find it very difficult to attract someone to fund your research, especially from the Western world. There are a lot of problems. The good thing is that there are a lot of problems in Africa. There are a lot of problems in Nigeria. If you look around you, there are a lot of problems in your field that you can begin to think about how to profile solutions or how to expose this problem, that you can tackle it to a certain level, and some other researchers will continue from where you stop. So when you put all these characteristics together, you can now begin to now say, okay, now the problem is here. Now this is the techniques that I want to use to approach this problem. Now this is the people I want to solve this problem for. You can now link all of them to form a project topic. Remember, you are carrying out the research for. Okay? And then the problem that you have exposed, or the problem you have identified, should be in your, these are the elements that a good project topic should carry. And then the techniques or the method that you want to use to solve the problem. And of course, you should know that the method you want to use or the techniques is also based on your expertise or the availability of resources. So when you put all this together, you can now arrive at a particular topic. And also remember that topic is flexible. It's not that when you start with a particular topic that at the end of the research, that topic will remain. As you continue in your work, you can be flexible. You can be flexible to add more things or change some things based on the way the research is going. Until the research is done, that is the only time that a topic can be finalized. No topic is finalized until research is done. Because in the process of the research, you may change the technique. You may change the particular people you want to solve the problem for. If you never identify the people clearly from the beginning. So these are important steps in project writing. These are important steps in research. Research is all about solving societal problems. Once you are good at identifying a problem, people you want to solve the problem for, resources available, how relevant or how important the problem is, how big or how difficult the problem is, how you can, in that, you are now good to carry out a research. You are now good to write your project. You are now good to now begin to think of the methodology to develop your objectives and how you are going to carry out this objective, to achieve this your aim of carrying out this research. So I believe with the following point, all the things I've said tonight for you, you can now have a clue on how to solve or how to identify problems for research. Then in our next lecture, we'll talk about step-by-step approach to writing a project. Don't go and pay money for anybody to write project for you as an undergraduate student or graduate student at any level. Don't pay money. That's why you went to school, to learn and to know how to go about it. I am here to give you the guide, the steps. And if you follow it, just as I've told you now how to choose a project topic, how to identify a good problem, I will also teach you how you can write a good project and components of a good project. Please, if you have any question, drop the question there and I will be glad to answer the questions for you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channels. Please subscribe and watch the videos. Send this link to other people. If you find it interesting or relevant or important to your research work, feel free to share to others so that they can also learn what you have benefited tonight. So just drop your message and subscribe. Drop your message and subscribe. Drop your message. I will be reading your message as you drop and attend to your messages. Okay, let me try to check your messages. Okay, thank you. Margaret said, thank you, sir, for an interesting, thank you, sir, interesting. Thank you, Margaret, too. Good evening, sir. Please drop your questions and let me attend to them. Drop your questions. Drop your questions. Drop your questions. But in the absence of any questions, I can come back to attend to your questions. So you can go and view the channel again or to listen to the lecture again. And by then I must have answered your questions. So if you enjoy the lecture, please share to your colleagues, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be glad to see you again. I'll be glad to see you again. Thank you, and bye-bye. Thank you for coming. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for inviting your friends and colleagues to join me. I am grateful. Thank you, and God bless you.